Breaking news right now, a major military escalation in the Middle East as we give you a live look over Jerusalem this morning. Iran fired dozens of drone strikes that Israeli forces did intercept overnight. This, of course, in response to Israel's wave of airstrikes to destroy Tehran's nuclear program. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis joining us this morning for some more insight on this. Good morning to you, sir. We knew this was coming. The administration ordered Americans out of the Middle East. So what's next? What are you specifically watching for in the next 24 hours?
Well, obviously, we're concerned about radiological release from the strikes that the Israelis made, but also the retaliation. We expect that Iran will clearly launch more drones and missiles. And of course, Hezbollah, Hamas, which probably can't do much, but the Houthis might be able to do a little more. IRGC obviously has lost its senior leadership based upon media reports. And so there's a lot of unknowns at this point, Jan. What I'm most concerned about, however, is strikes against U.S. personnel. Of course, we started to remove those personnel through evacuation a couple of days ago, but the Iranians have threatened to attack us. And we have 40,000 troops in the region, plus dependents, and they're all around Iran. So that could be a major issue going forward.
You talked about the IRGC, the Iran Revolutionary Guard. We know now that there are reports that the head of the IRGC was killed, as well as the chief of the country's military. What does that mean for Iran's defense forces? Who is leading those forces now?
Well, just like every military, someone is the second in command will step forward. When we struck Soleimani under the Trump 1 administration in Baghdad, clearly there was an echo across that region, and retaliation took place. But as far as IRGC's capabilities, they run all the armed forces. There's no doubt about that, and they'll continue to do so. But they will strike out, and they do have capabilities all over the region. Whether or not they're going to be able to touch us, I think is an issue that's unresolved. Keep in mind, a week ago, we redirected from what was going to Ukraine thousands of anti-drone capabilities into the Middle East, and in anticipation of what we've just seen.
Lieutenant Colonel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the attacks will continue for as many days as it takes, because he said, quote, "We cannot leave these threats for the next generation." He said, "When the enemy develops the capabilities to destroy you, stop him." As we know, there's been plenty of reports that reveal Iran had enough uranium, they'd enriched enough uranium to build nuclear bombs within days. So talk about the seriousness of this, especially in the hands of the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism.
You know, well, they've threatened to destroy Israel and attack the United States, albeit with nuclear weapons, which is why Mr. Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu have made it clear that Iran would not become a nuclear state. Keep in mind that what Netanyahu said earlier this morning, Israel time, the Iranians were believed to have enough enriched uranium for at least 9 weapons, and they have plenty of ballistic missiles. We're not sure they could, mate the two, the nuclear weapon with a missile, but we're not taking any chances. And so Netanyahu said, no, the time is ripe, we must strike, and they did, and they'll continue to strike until they believe the Natanz and other nuclear facilities are put totally out of action. So we'll have to wait and see.
How should the U.S. respond? And at what point do we go in to protect Israel, to protect ourselves from one of our biggest enemies?
Well, we must respond by being very vigilant against any attacks on our facilities, because we've lost hundreds of U.S. service members over the years in the Middle East. So we will resupply Israel with some critical munitions, no doubt. We'll continue to use the USS Vincent, which is in the Arabian Sea just south of the Persian Gulf, and it can provide air cover to our facilities. Certainly our other naval facilities out of Bahrain will no doubt exit the port to keep it safe from strikes by IRGC and the like. So there are a lot of things that we must do to heighten security, but at the same time, we're hopeful that perhaps the Iranians will follow through and actually provide a counterproposal that we can live with on Sunday, as was previously
So
arranged.
you think the talks are still on? You think that we still are going to have talks with Iran?
I think it's in Iran's interest to do this. Clearly, their sponsors, Russia and China, will have a voice here. I think China and Russia want to stabilize the region, and especially China, which is really dependent upon Iranian oil at the tone of 3 million barrels a day. So they want to see something to stabilize the region once again.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, we appreciate you joining us this morning, and thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you.